Hello everyone. So today I have a stitched bunny look, but with no sewing. If you're like me, this is the project for you. This turns out so cute. You may have seen it before, but I'm just starting with this banner that I got from Dollar Tree. It's a bunny banner and they're little felt bunnies. They're probably about, 8 inches tall. And I loved the size of this bunny and I love that his ear flapped down. So I needed to get a tracer. So I just ruined the banner and cut one end off. But I just figured it was from Dollar Tree and it's $1.25, so I can get more. But I took a plain piece of ivory fabric because I wanted this stitching to show up. Otherwise, another piece of fabric, maybe with florals or something, would be really pretty too. But like I said, I wanted that stitching to show up so I could show you guys how you can do this. And so I just traced it out and then I folded it over so I could have 2 layers to the bunny because I'm going to stick a little bit of polyfill in him so he's 3-dimensional and he kind of looks more like a stuffed animal. And I just think that this was probably the most tedious part, is to cut out around all of the bunny because of his sloppy ears and to make sure that all the pieces were straight. But otherwise, this is a pretty simple project. So once you have all of this cut out, just make sure that all your pieces are lining up pretty good. It's okay that they're not perfect because any of those excess you can cut off afterwards. So have your glue gun hot and ready, and then we're going to start by just gluing along the side of the bunny. So then I am just going to work my way up. You can really start wherever, but I wanted to show you this whole process to show you how I did it because it's a little bit tricky to work with the glue and not to burn your fingers, and then to work around his ears and get the polyfill in. So I'm just showing you how I did it in hopes that you can, make it a little bit easier for yourself. But so then just make sure that you try to get every little inch of the bunny sealed up really well so the polyfill, so you don't have holes at the end. But if you do have holes at the end, you can always come back and glue those pieces together. So I just took my first chunk of polyfill, and you're going to need a pencil or something pointy to push that polyfill up into the ear as much as you can, and without breaking those seams. And then I just worked my way around. I stuffed half of them, and then I started with the other ear, because I knew that's the trickiest part. So once you get that glued and down, you can do the same thing and put a little bit of the polyfill up into that ear and then work your way down. I just figured it was easiest because as you work your way down, it's fuller and easier to stuff. So just make sure you're not burning yourself here, but it's a little bit tricky with the polyfill because it wants to come out of those seams. So you're probably just going to have to use the polyfill really sparingly just to make sure that you can get everything good and sealed, which is the most important part. So once you have this done, you're going to seal up the last part, close them up, and then you're going to grab your scissors and just cut off any of those little strings on the edges, and then you're ready for the stitching. So I just used an acrylic paint for the stitching look and a really thin brush. That's the key. So I just did tiny little lines, and I try to keep them as uniform as possible, as if you would if you were actually stitching it. And I moved very carefully around all the edges of the bunny, trying to stay in the lines and make them straight. And if you are a little uncertain about this part, you can just do an ear and maybe let it dry, because the only problem would be is if you smudged it, then it's kind of hard to go back. So if you feel better, just work a little bit slower. And also another tip here, if you maybe don't have the steadiest hand and you don't feel very confident, you can always try to make a little pencil mark to show where you're going to go with your paintbrush. So again, this is just plain acrylic paint, and I used a blue called Skyline Blue because the pot that it's going to go in, I wanted it all to match and flow, but you can use a different variety of colors here, especially on this ivory. So you can work your way all the way around at your own pace, and then once you are finished with the front, you can let it dry, and you can always do the back side as well. I'm just showing you the one side today to show you what you can do, and I'm going to try this bunny more often because sewing for me, it just is so much more time consuming than painting these little lines. But I just love the stitch look of bunnies and all different kinds of things. So I'm going to use this method more often. And then once you're done with this, you can find a cute little pot to do. I have also made another video to show you the pot that I decorated. Or you could just make 2 or 3 of them and stick them in a bowl with some Easter eggs inside just to make it cute for spring and Easter. Or don't do the eggs and just make it cute for all spring long and even summer. So then I just took a simple little piece of twine and tied it around his neck just to embellish him a little bit. And I stuck him in the pot that you're going to see in my next video and put some Easter eggs with them. So I hope you liked it. Thanks for watching, and I'll be back with the pot video.